Good morning for anyone that's already here. Okay. I was concerned that my internet is really wonky this morning, guys. So if for some reason something happens, I will try to get back on here. All right, let me get this set up. As always, hello, welcome. If you're watching the replay, hello, welcome to. I'm going to get my information up here before we get started. Feel free to share this week's video. We do have a giveaway this week. I was able to find one that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. And I'm just now getting the notification that we're live. So we're going to wait a little bit longer. So if you are new here, go ahead and throw up in the chat where you're from, what you're doing, what you're growing, any questions you might have. If you guys were with us back in March, then you watched the How to Grow Your Own Food series. And this garden tour series is an extension of that series. I highly, highly encourage you to go back and watch that series if you have not watched it yet, because there's a lot of really good information there about growing your own food, growing a victory garden this year. By the way, there is absolutely still time to get a garden in the ground if you didn't get one done in the spring. And so every week we are going through different gardens on different homesteads and different farms. And so we are using our YouTube channel as a pathway to generate you or lead you to these other YouTube channels. Ginger Peach, yes, you can absolutely join the HOA membership, even no matter where you are. You don't even have to be in the United States. No matter where you are, what you're doing, if you're not even growing anything, anybody can be part of the organization. So we are talking about garden tours every week. We are linking to garden tours every week. Please be patient. A lot of people are, we are all on different time zones. So some people are getting their videos up a couple of hours later than 9 o'clock. Some people are right on point. Some people are a day early. So it's all over the place. There's no rhyme or reason, and that's amazing because that's how we like to do it over here. All right, so that's the spiel on what the garden tour series is. Now, the links to all of the channels this week, each week is a different set of collaborators. I was actually supposed to be this week, and I did not have time to film my garden. We harvested potatoes, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And we did some weed eating in the garden, and I am going to be weeding the rest of it this week so that I can get a garden tour for you next week on my channel. So we do have some collaborators this week, so let's go over those. And then we're going to talk about potatoes, and we have a book giveaway. Let me just give you a little preview. Oh, does that say Joel Salatin? Yes, it does. Okay, so this week's collaborators are Freedom Homestead. And I think they already got a video up, and I'm not even sure that they remembered that they were supposed to be part of the collaboration, but it's up. They do have one up. So Freedom Homestead, Jack and Tangi are over there talking about their garden. They have a really nice garden too. Cog Hill Farm is supposed to be with us this week. He is down in Alabama, I think. So for those of you in the South, he's one to definitely watch. All of you Northerners, I know you're getting jealous of all the people in the South growing their stuff. But all right, next is Life on Beagle Road. She said their video is going to be up in the next hour or so. So it's uploading now. I absolutely love this couple. They are wonderful, down-to-earth, genuine people. Love them. And then new with us this week is Hey, It's a Good Life. And Natalie is just amazing. Oh, look, she popped in. Natalie is amazing. She is just wonderful. She's such a sweet girl. Oh, my goodness. Please go check out her channel. She is doing great, great things. And so somebody asked about city setting, Ginger Peach. Check out Hey, It's a Good Life, because she literally has this small little backyard, and she is growing great big things in that backyard. So definitely check her out this week as well. So that's who our collaborators are this week. They're in the description below. And so we'll go next to the giveaway, and then we will talk about potatoes, because some of you might not care about potatoes. You might just care about the giveaway and the other tours. So we'll do that last. All right, this week Yes, we are doing this. We are giving away, is this backwards? Is it just backwards on my screen or is it backwards on your screen too? Good morning, Minnesota. Yes. Okay, so this is the very first book that I read by Joel Salatin. Okay, it's not backwards. Good. Thank the Lord. I don't know why it does that when it's backwards on mine, but it's not backwards on yours. This is the Folks This Ain't Normal book. And this is actually one of the books that really inspired me to homestead. What was this book? I was actually already homesteading when I first read this book. When was this published? Let's see. This was published in 2012. So this was out long before I started homesteading. Well, no, that's not true either. Listen, I'm really tired this morning. The baby didn't sleep last night, so just bear with me. All right, so this is the Joel Salatin Folks This Ain't Normal book. This is a really good book that every homesteader should read. He talks about just what is wrong with our food system. You know, there's no pretty pictures in here, but if you've been looking for a new book to read, let me just read you some of the contents. Some of the contents are children, chores, humility, and health. A cat is a cow, as a chicken is my aunt. That's a good one. Hog killings and laying in the larder, wrappings, trappings, and foil, lawn farms, and kitchen chickens. It has this really fun table of contents, okay? And he just goes through everything, you know, just everything that's not normal in our society, everything that we should be doing, how we should get back on the farm. Yes, The Marvelous Pigness of Pigs is a wonderful one. I actually haven't finished reading that. I should put that on my list for winter time to finish reading. But this is a really good book. It is inspiring. It helps you just really understand how you really should be living life as a homesteader. So this is our giveaway for this week. Let me just read the back for you so you can understand, because some people still don't know who Joel Salatin is, and that's fine. Family farmer Joel Salatin has been hailed by the New York Times as Virginia's most multifaceted agrarian since Thomas Jefferson, profiled in the Academy Award-nominated documentary Food, Inc., and the best-selling book The Omnivore's Dilemma. In Folks This Ain't Normal, he discusses how far removed we are from the simple, sustainable joy that comes from living close to the land and the people we love. Salatin has many thoughts on what normal is and shares practical and philosophical ideas for changing our lives in small ways that have big impact. You want this book? Then you have to do what's in the description below. Go to every video if you want to. You don't have to watch everyone, but it helps you out if you do. Watch the video. Come back here and leave a comment on an individual comment for each video that you watched if you want more entries. Otherwise, just leave one comment. Tell us which videos you watched and tell us something, not just that you watched it, but what's something you learned in that video or what's something that inspired you. This really helps our garden tour collaborators know what you want to see more of, and it kind of encourages them too, you know, encourages them that they're teaching you something, that they're helping you grow. And it's just nice for them to see that. So tell us what you're learning, what inspired you for each video that you watch. Share one of the videos, share this video, come back and tell us in a separate comment that you did that. For every new comment you leave is a new entry because we use a random comment picker. So it, you know, it filters through everything. So on Friday morning, I will announce the winner for this. I still think I think I did announce the winner for last time's giveaway, but I'll have to go back and see. So you have until Friday morning to enter to win this, and then we will get this shipped right out to you. So this is a great book, and I encourage you to check it out whether you win it or not, because it is a wonderful book. And like Hey, It's a Good Life said, Marvelous Pigness of Pigs is also a great book. I've started reading that, but I have not finished it. And he has a lot of books. I think he's up to 12 books now. Joel and Sina McCullough just came out with a book called Beyond Labels. It's a wonderful book. And we actually did an interview with them about that book a couple of weeks ago. So you can go back and check that out. Okay, so let me just scroll through the chat here real quick. All right, so we're going to talk about potatoes this week. So let me tell you about yesterday. So I have gotten a lot of questions about potatoes. And there was one thing I wanted to look up real quick. Let's see. because I just don't want to give you the wrong information. I think I know the right information, but I want to make sure I give it to you. Okay, so typically potatoes, you would, for Virginia, we plant them in March around St. Patrick's Day, and then we harvest them normally in June. This year, ooh, I thought I heard somebody bang on my door in a very weird way, but I think it was my child being crazy. Anyhow, so this year we had a really bad hard frost, and it set us about a month behind on harvesting our potatoes. So we planted Yukon gold potatoes like this. They are lovely, they're wonderful, they are delicious. But apparently we also planted Yukon gold potatoes like this. So I wanted to show you, most of our harvests look like this. So I wanted to talk about potatoes, planting them, harvesting them, kind of doing a double planting, how to plant them. There's a lot of different methods, and just knowing that you're going to get some like this and you're going to get some like this, because that's just potatoes, right? But isn't that like the cutest potato you have ever seen? It's just like pop it in your mouth. So can you guys let me know if I'm still alive, because my computer's acting weird. So there's some debate as to whether or not you should plant the whole potato or or I was gonna grab a potato for you that was chitting. So potatoes will get, see, like this right here, it'll get a little eye on it and it'll start growing out, and it'll start growing a little plant out of it. Okay. Some people cut that eye off and plant each individual eye. Other people just plant the whole potato. Doesn't really matter. I've done both. I did an experiment one year in the same row of whole potatoes and then half potatoes, or the potatoes with just that size. I actually preferred planting the whole potato. I got more potatoes more easily by planting the whole potato than I did by cutting off the eyes and planting those individually. You know, I've always grown up hearing that if you cut the eye off and plant it, you get more potatoes that way. But I found that yes, we're going to talk about harvesting too in a second. So I have found that it's easier for me to harvest potatoes, and I get the same amount, if not more, when I plant the whole potato. Okay. So I just want to throw that out there. Always kind of question what you're learning, because it could not be true, I'm finding, with some things. And it's just good to experiment. So one of the things I've been telling people, you guys know we have a big garden up the road from us on 5 acres. In years past, we've had a small kitchen garden here in the front. And so I loved that kitchen garden because it was small, it was very manageable, but it was also an experiment garden. So that's what I did with the potatoes a couple of years ago, learning which way I wanted to grow them. So if you have a kitchen garden or a small area that you can just use as an experiment area for different things, I encourage you to do it, because not every region and every soil is going to grow the same way. And you might even challenge some of the things that old timers said against other methods that might work better now. So I really encourage you to do that. Now, yes, it's different climates too. So like down in Alabama, I know Haas Tools, they harvested their potatoes like 2 months ago. I think he said they plant them in January or something, and I'm just like jealous. So, okay, so that was the planting part. Now the harvesting part, I'm getting a lot of questions about. So when we plant, let me tell you how to plant them. You can plant these in raised beds if you want to. We do not plant them in raised beds. A friend of mine asked me, I have not washed this potato. See, I haven't washed it at all. And there's not a single speck of dirt on it. Now there's some like residual dirt that if you washed it or if you rubbed your hand, but even if I rub my hand, there's no dirt. You still want to wash them before you eat them. But I haven't washed this potato. And so a friend of mine in Washington State asked me, she said, how are your potatoes so clean? Because you really shouldn't wash potatoes when you harvest them. And it's just best not to. And So she asked me how they were so clean. And so I believe it's the way that we plant them. We plant ours directly in the ground. It's a very sandy soil. So if you are planting in a bed, you can amend your soil and add sand just to that bed and make it a root bed. Make it, carrots love to be in sandy soil. Onions like to be in sandy soil. So just use that as a root bed. And then there are some leafy greens that'll grow that you can put the nutrients back in that soil too. We dig a trench when we actually make a row, like a market row. It's raised, like a regular market row would be raised. And then we dig a trench in the middle and we put our whole potato in there and we space them about a foot apart. Some we did a little bit further apart, but I actually found that the potatoes we planted closer together did better. I got bigger, more potatoes from the potatoes that we planted closer together than we did the ones that were farther apart. The potatoes that we planted farther apart, the plants, because it's been so hot here, died more quickly, and therefore it did not give them as much time to shoot out tubers. Good morning, guys. Everybody coming in. So once we dig a trench, we put the potatoes in and we mound over top of them. Okay. And then we directly after that, we put at least a foot of straw over top of the beds. And that's it. That's all we do. We don't do anything else. We don't continue to mound them or anything. The potatoes, whether you put them in the ground and cover them with straw or not, they're going to grow right on the surface. But it's better if you put straw over them because it's just another layer of protection. They're going to actually grow, a lot of them, above the soil underneath the straw. But the straw acts as a good layer of protection for them. You can just throw them in the ground and not mound them up, not put straw on them, and they'll still grow, but they just might not be as big and you might not get as many. But we're testing that as well this year. So we have 2 rows that we have not pulled from yet, and we did not cover them with straw, and we did not really mound them either. Yes, Food for Forest Permaculture says, I leave my potatoes in the ground. When I need them, I dig them out. You can do that. And you can even do that in a cold climate. You just can't do it in a really wet climate. So if it's really wet, they'll rot in the ground. We've done that before and we've experienced that before. So you just have to watch the weather. Okay, so that was the planting part. Now, a lot of people are asking me when to harvest your potatoes. So there's some differing in opinion on that. I can tell you what we've always done because I want big potatoes. I don't want little potatoes. I want big potatoes. And like I said, pretty much all of our harvest was these big potatoes. I had 2 rows. The rows were about 20 feet long and I don't know, maybe 2 feet wide. Okay. So I've got 2 rows that I harvested yesterday. I've got 2 more rows the same size to go. Out of those 2 rows, I got 2 overflowing 5-gallon buckets of potatoes. This size. I was going to weigh them, but my scale needs batteries. And so I just I wasn't going to run to the store just to get batteries. So there's some differing in opinion on when you should harvest. I have gotten this question so much in the last week, like so much, when to harvest them. So I'm going to tell you what I've always done and what has always worked for me. And somebody else could tell you something totally different. So my theory is I am going to wait till the plant is completely dead. The number one reason is because they continue to grow. When the plant starts dying, it actually sends more energy to the roots. So it gives you large potatoes like these, okay? Approximately 45 to 50 pounds per pound. Yes! So we've gotten like 100 pounds of potatoes. That's awesome. So I wait till the plant completely dies. You can start harvesting when they start turning yellow. Same concept. They might be this big. But I continued to check our potatoes over the last month. So our plants started dying off about a month ago. And it took them about a full month to completely die. And when I say die, I mean crisp, to a crisp dead. I would continue to pull back the straw on just this one potato plant to see what they were doing. And when about a month ago, I would say this, not this potato particularly, but there was a potato about that large, okay, under the straw. A month later, it was about this large, adding this extra piece, okay? So it might not be a huge difference, but it is to me because that's a big potato. That's a big Yukon Gold potato. So I wait, and because the thing is, you never know how many potatoes you're going to get. And sometimes it's good to have big potatoes in less harvest rather than a bunch of small potatoes and a huge harvest, you know? So I wait until the plant completely dies. It's completely dead. It's fallen over. It's crispy. It's just dead. And then I don't water them for at least a week before harvesting. That's another reason that I think that they're so clean. They don't need water. The plant isn't alive anymore. And as food forest permaculture just said, soggy ground won't grow much. It won't. I see a lot of people that grow in raised beds and they water their potatoes a lot. And that doesn't work with potatoes. Potatoes are a lot like tomatoes. They don't like a lot of water. And so it just in my experience. And so I don't water them a lot. I haven't watered these potatoes since April. So other than the rain, now I would have watered them if we were in a drought or something, but I probably would have only watered them once a week if we hadn't had any rain. But I haven't watered these since April. We've gotten rain, I don't know, maybe a couple of times a week up until the beginning of June. And then June was kind of dry. And July's been very dry. We haven't had any rain. And so it grows good potatoes. It does. So we harvest when the plant's dead. We don't water for at least a week before we harvest because it's really hard to harvest potatoes in mud, just saying. And then we keep our beds pretty dry for potatoes. And we've done really well with that every year that I've planted them. So this is the first year that we've gotten a big harvest. This is the first year that we have planted a lot of potatoes. And I am really excited. The first time I pulled up the first plant, I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So if nothing else, we know we can grow potatoes. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that. And yes, these little tiny seed potatoes are great for planting next year or leaving in the ground for next year. That's an experiment that I haven't had yet or done yet. I don't know how many potatoes it will produce where I am, but it'll be interesting to see. You see a little head walking by. Where'd he go? What are you doing? These are Yukon Gold, so that's a question I've had too. Are they good for storage? They're okay for storage. Yukon Gold potatoes don't have a very thick skin, and therefore they can go bad quicker. So after harvesting, you need to cure your potatoes. I'm glad we started talking about that. You need to lay them out in a single line or in a single layer, not line. And get off the table because you're shaking it. And they need to cure for at least a week. So you can do this outside in a barn, under a roof cover. You can do it in your house in front of a sunny window. You can even put them in your basement on cardboard or trash bags and let them cure for about a week before putting them in their final storage area. The nice thing, I would say probably the longer storing potatoes are things like russets and things that have really thick skins because they're protected from moisture. The other thing is it's okay if your potatoes start getting a little questionable. You can extend their life by canning them. Somebody asked me, what are you going to do with all those potatoes? And so that's what we do here. If something is starting to get a little bit soft or starting to get some imperfections, then we just can it. I've done with carrots. You can't have this. You can't bite it. Just hold it. Potatoes, onions. Can't really can onions, but you can make something with onions in it. No. So don't bite it. That would be nasty. We'll use that one for dinner tonight. How about that? So that's the deal with potatoes. And I hope that helps you, because I've gotten a lot of questions about potatoes, and rightfully so. People are kind of like, hey, I know nothing about potatoes. Others are having, I know I'm watching a lot of people not have really great harvests this year, and it could be because of the weather. Every year is different. You know, you can have, I told someone that yesterday. Someone asked me about potatoes. I said, even the pros will have years that they don't do well, because you are not in control of the weather. The only thing you can do is try to amend your beds to reflect what the weather's doing. So that's it. That's our potato talk. And I hope that it helped you, because I know a lot of people have questions about potatoes and root vegetables. So, all right, so that's it from me this week. We've been on here for a while this week. Don't forget, there's a giveaway below in the description with the rules for the Joel Salatin book, folks, the same normal. Don't forget to check out all of the collaborators this week. We have a lot of fun collaborators, and I hope that you guys are doing well and you have a wonderful week, and that your gardens are growing fantastically, and that you are learning lots. So have a great day, guys, and we will see you next week. Happy homesteading. Oh my goodness, you're crazy.